All right, welcome back to another Ladder Legends replay analysis. This time, InfestedZergyZerg as Izzy Lovesock versus Escortcel. What we have here is had a Mutiling Bane, then they got Lurkers. I was thinking of going Broodlords, but my hive was starting too late. Other than that, I had no clue what to do. Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna throw this disclaimer out there. Broodlords and ZVZ is almost never the answer. Um, it's a great way to throw away a whole bunch of money and a lead. If they have enough money to get Vipers out and to have a few spores out, then that's never gonna work. But let's go ahead and see what actually happens in the game. All right, so we're both going for illegal hatch first. Very nice. These things look exactly the same. All right. All right, we see that he's going. There's something here, which is these links should not be committing themselves in. There's nothing really to see at this moment. We go to the front, we see that he has a bait nest, we check the third, but link speed is going to be done in 50 seconds. It's best to wait for the link speed, and if you're going to commit at all, wait for the link speed. There's really nothing to see at this point. With 3 bases, we assume he has link speed himself. It'd be crazy for him not to. There's no real value to coming in here at this time. And since we're going to Bane, I assume we're doing a Bane all-in ourselves. These 2 links would be very useful to stay alive. Up here, over here, down here, so they can morph into Banelings offensively. This Baneling morph is very, very not good because the Banelings are on this side of the map. They should be on this side of the map. And again, even just having 2 Banelings morphed, when you're in ZVZ for a Baneling all-in, just having Banelings alive allows you to morph more Banelings. So just having those first 2 lings over here morphing Banelings as soon as the Bane nest was finished, and then when you come in, you can then keep the Banes alive by morphing more Banelings closer. And those Banelings can't be pounced on because of the Banelings that already exist. But over here, they're going to take an eternity to waddle over to this side of the map. So already the attack is not going well. 2 Banelings here, these Banelings morphing over here. Would do pretty good. One thing to note is the ratio here. So we have 6 Banelings, but we really don't have that many Zerglings. So we have 6 Banelings and 10 Zerglings. We really want to make sure that we're like at least we have reinforcements coming in. So this money here needs to be spit into Zerglings like immediately. These injects are a little bit late. So you have 30 energy on these queens. We need to be injecting as soon as we get 25 energy. We need to be spinning these injects as soon as they pop. So that we actually have, so the 6 Banelings are fine, but like we don't have enough Zerglings coming in, and that's a lot to do with the fact that we're not spinning this larva and making Zerglings immediately. So these reinforcements coming quite a bit late. They probably could be timed up at the same time his are, so it could be another 10 seconds on the way, if not more. Now we've given him time, and he's used this time to start morphing Banelings of his own. So now he has Banelings, Queens, and Lings for defense. It's going to be quite hard to break him at this point. Not impossible. Still doable for sure, but we've made the game a lot harder for ourselves. And we've gotten supply blocked. This Overlord just should not be chilling here. typically in ZVC, we want overlords to be coming out like here and here, maybe here. We just want to make sure that all base ways that they can leave their base. Technically, they can come up around this way, but that's so far. We just need to make sure that we have good view here and a good view here. And then the fact that he takes his base means eventually we'll have to back off with this overlord. So we can back off this way. And technically they could sneak out, but we will have overlords to catch that, up this way. And it'll take a very long time. And we should have safety baits. So we're not so worried about giant, detours to our base, but we just want to have the overlords here, another overlord here. And that will keep them safe from the queens and keep our supply high, and also keep good eyes on the Ling move out paths. At the point that we decide to make a lair, we need to be thinking about droning out at that point. And so this attack needs to have a couple of lings in the rear already. Like you need to pull back. Instead of, like, these should be 5 probably drones if we're planning on making a lair here. And like we should leave a couple lings in reserve to morph banelings, so that if when this attack is dealt with and he counters attack, we can have banelings ready, and then we can start lings at that point. And the banelings can help keep us safe against the 2 banelings can help keep us safe while we wait for more reinforcements. But if we're going to be stopping the attack by putting money elsewhere, then we need to start drowning, start getting more gases. These banelings do not want to be coming in for this mineral line. That's not the point of these banelings. The point of these banelings here, we want them to link up with these banelings. Need to ward his zerglings away while we deal with his banelings. Ideally, more cost efficiently than that. But now all his banelings are gone. So now he's basically lost the game if we play this correctly. We shouldn't be transitioning out of anything except we are a little supply blocked, but hey, it is what it is. Make another overlord and then we start making lings. At this point, what we want to do is we need, again, these banelings and these lings need to be linked up together at this point because there's no banelings on the opponent's side. So we need to pull these banelings back and these lings need to come forward. When he tries to split off a few lings in order to deal with our banelings, we should overpower his few lings with our mini lings. And if he tries to come in with mini lings to fight our mini lings, then we pull back the mini lings, and then we can detonate a Bailey on mini lings. So here, this is a fine detonation. But again, it's like, it shouldn't be. Now, this one right here will be, like, Banelings should be pulled back. Baleen should attack. This would be the Banelings just need to pull back here. We don't really need to, I'm not sure where these lings are even going, but we don't really need to worry about them too much. They're not like really doing anything. So at this point, we come forward with everything. The lings, we could probably we don't really have enough lings because of our bad macro in order to continue attack right now. But if we want to just keep the pressure on to try to keep him from morphing banelings, at this point, what we can do is we can, outside of spine range, we can fight his lings with our lings and banes. But instead of going into spine range, we should keep the lings and banes a bit alive and morph a few more banelings. If he starts to morph banelings, then we can start considering going, so we can try to kill his lings and get on top of his banelings and stop his baneling morphs while our banelings are finishing. But right now, there's no pressure for us to continue the attack until we get more lings reinforcements or banelings. Now, this big supply block does mean that it's pretty unattractive to continue attacking here, even though probably he should be dead. So I'm okay with like the transition out, but again, it needs to be lair, it needs to be drones immediately. And then we still need to do the correct things with these units, which is take good, efficient trades, make sure we have a couple of like these two lanes should stay home instead, or maybe these two lanes should stay home instead, and just wait to see what happens. The rest of these lanes can take good, efficient trades, and they all need to do it together. What we never want is we never want the spine crawler. He's never selected the spine crawler once and manually targeted Banelings. That's why we don't want Banelings walking into spine range. We want the Zerglings to be in front so that the Zerglings draw the aggro. So if he wants to target Banelings with the spines, he has to manually do it himself. He doesn't just get it for free. Okay. Let's see how the transition looks. So now notice he's actually starting to transition with drones. So really, the lair is not the first. People transition with drones before they transition with technology. So this, yes, we are doing a tech switch, but we still have 27 drones. Whereas he is starting to make drones, and that is his initial transition away from this this all in. Although our layer will be faster, you notice it gets done, and we just don't even have enough money to use it. So this is the big reason why we want to focus on drones first, getting extra gases. You can start the extra gases at the same time you start the layer, but you should be have enough drones to start them at the same time. One, like 2 or 3 to start, and then maybe a 4th. At this point, we're like half all-inning, half transitioning, which is typically not a good idea. We want to be like fully committing to all-in or fully commit to transition. The Spire could be quite a bit earlier had we just committed to actually getting the Spire down. Probably we want to focus on having full mineral saturation and 4 gases saturated as before we get extra gases. Until we know that we're in a Meta v Meta war, we don't really care about getting all the gases. Like 4 gases is probably enough to make sure that we can continue to have some amount of Zergling presence on his side of the map, as well as getting some metas out. Once we start getting some metas out, we start getting some stability, we can consider getting more gases. But for now, we just want to worry about staying alive. Have enough stuff to stay alive. When the dust has settled out of this opening, he's 13 workers ahead. It's kind of a choice because we continue to make so many Zerglings without emphasis on droning. But now we're in a very bad position economically. So he is going for Hydralisted. So this is a Mutaling Bank situation. This is also why we should, once we make our initial round of metas, you want to start focusing on upgrades, get your +1, probably at least have 1 evo and maybe get +1 melee. But most importantly, start Baneling speed. If they decide to go for Hydralisks in order to survive the Mutalisks, then Banelings are extremely effective so long as you have Baneling speed. But you need it very timely. So we've overpowered. We're still in a bad position even after this damage here. And he's before we've even started Baneling speed, which is somewhat of a choice. But he's already starting his Lurker Den, which means now Banelings are no longer going to be effective as soon as this Lurker Den comes out and the Lurkers come out. So our timing to make something happen is this Lurker Den, before this Lurker Den happens. And now at this point, we need to be looking at Hive Tech as soon as this Lurker Den is done and the Lurkers start. And in fact, he starts Hive before us. He should be making Lurkers right now. He isn't. So if this Baneling speed was already done, this attack could be going quite well. And again, we want things to be linked up together. The Lings, and like I understand that maybe the Mutas want to back off a bit until the Hydra's are a bit more dealt with, but the Lings and the Banes should be synced up together, which would be a lot easier if we had Baleen Speed already finished. Okay, so we basically got the work done anyway. We killed a bunch of workers. At this point, he has the hive tech on the way, and he has the lurker den. So now we are in the driver's seat, but we need to start transitioning. We either need to actually kill him, which is probably not possible due to the fact that our injects are not quite where they need to be. Our drum count wasn't quite what it needed to be, so we don't have like a good follow up. Well, maybe we do. We got enough lings here. So basically, at this point, we need to remorph. We need to keep as many mutas alive as possible, pull back. We need to reconsolidate, make a bunch of banelings, then we need to go in again to kill, the third base, right? Just keep them completely down. So the banelings need to get remorphed, like much more so than we need. Zerglings attacking roaches here. Is we need banelings for the eventual hydralisks. The roaches don't shoot up, so we have to think about we have enough meters to overpower the two queens here and just shell on the roaches indefinitely. The roaches can never shoot up, so they can never win that fight. So what does he have that can win the fight? He has hydras. What can we do to kill hydras? Banelings. So we need to make sure we get banelings morphed. What does he have to counter banelings? Kind of roaches, but the mutas counter that, and lurkers, which he can't make the lurkers without the hydras. So we're in a good spot to snowball this game and win, but we need to pull back. We don't need to pull back the mutas per se, but we need to pull back the lings, consolidate more banelings, and then go in again. Now, because we've lost all those lings, we don't have the momentum. He's finally going to get the more lurkers. Once he has lurkers and hydras and spores together, it's going to be pretty much impossible to truly break him with a meter ling. Maybe not impossible, but very difficult. Probably not recommended. You're gonna have to start like going from a lot of different angles, and you're gonna start trading very cost inefficiently. So you're gonna have to be way up in workers. So we have to be something like 90 workers at that point, 80 to 90 workers at least, and really good production in order to keep up super cost ineffective trades and kill him. And one of the ZVZ replays that I posted in the Ladder Legends replay analysis channel, I think I have a game against Vibe, and he does exactly the style against me, where he's just crashing in super cost inefficient trades, but he's keeping me down economically and ends up overwhelming me. Not how I would play, but it's possible. At this point, what I would suggest doing is I would suggest transitioning to a hive, transitioning to ultra microbial shroud, and again, trying to play the longer game, deny his fifth base, come in over here where he doesn't have static. You can, with ultra microbial shroud, you can fight even into lurkers. There's only just a problem whenever he gets spore crawlers up, but if he only has a few spore crawlers, you can even get, because the spore crawlers will kill the overseer, so you can't actually see the lurkers. Just having a lot of overseers will help prevent that if he has a few spore crawlers. Also, making a couple of vipers, which can blinding cloud the spore crawlers, would help quite a bit if he only has a few. So this is still very breakable with ultra microbial shroud. As your base composition, a bunch of overseers, and maybe some vipers as well. But at this point, just ramming into him with Meterlink Bane is not going to work unless we have a huge economic advantage of him and just start focusing on hitting with speed banelings, running speed banelings into mineral lines, and having mutas fly around with an overseer. So having an overseer with speed on this. To go and find exposed lurkers and start picking them off. Like these lurkers could all be killed by mutas flying around. These lurkers could be killed with mutas flying around. So long as you make sure that you attack where his army is out of position. We shouldn't be fighting spores, particularly. That doesn't seem like a good use. We really need that overseer so we can actually target the lurkers. If we target the lurkers die, then all of a sudden the banelings can do work. Just a side note, he is going for adaptive talents and seismic spines. This is incorrect. You always go seismic spines before adaptive talents if you're going lurkers. It's never a situation that you want the opposite. Yeah, at this point we need to be like trying to like not with lings, but with banelings kind of come in from like weird angles, see where his lurkers are, and try to like go around and start attacking mineral lines so that we can start to solidify an economic advantage. Getting more drones ourselves, but also reducing his drone count would be the way to continue this style and eventually win. However, it's going to be a numbers game as the composition is not working here for sure. Just as a note, because he has all these hydras and he has these spore crawlers and he has the hive tech, it's very easy for him to get vipers. If we go broodlords here, he can abduct broodlords into spores. Spores are ridiculously efficient at killing broodlords since they have bonus versus biological. So not recommended as a solution. Although it is possible again with massive amounts of economy, and so you can just make way more broodlords than he can ever possibly abduct in. It's possible. One of the best ways to throw one of the easiest ways to throw the game, in my opinion. But what we can't do is we can never just attack into this area. We see that, but like, yeah, what do we do to like stop this? And the answer is mostly, in my opinion, have transitioned to Hive quite a bit longer and gone Ultras instead. Ultras mean that he can't move across the map like Ultras with Microbial means if he moves across the map like this, he's 100% dead. You just Microbial Shroud on top of his army. Your Ultras come up on top of his army. They take no damage. Bob's your uncle. Yep. All right. Nice game. Thanks for watching. This has been a Ladder Legends replay analysis. If you guys are interested in seeing more, join Ladder Legends, the free Discord. You can kind of get access to some of the discussions, and if you want to pay a small subscription fee, then you can also submit replays for analysis. Have a great one, guys.